Hi, boys and girls. Here is the video for Lesson 5 Workbook for Ancient Greece. Again, make sure once you are done with this on paper that you go back into the Google Classroom and click Submit and put a personal comment that you completed it on paper. Okay, here we go. So the main idea here up at the top, number one, the Greeks made great contribution to the arts. Number two, the teachings of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle are the basis of modern philosophy. And number three, in science, the Greeks made key discoveries in math, medicine, and engineering. Key terms and peoples. Socrates, the first of the great Greek thinkers and teachers. Plato, teacher and thinker, student of Socrates, and founder of the Academy. Aristotle, philosopher who taught that people should live lives of moderation based on reason. Reason, clear and ordered thinking. Euclid, great and influential mathematician. And Hippocrates is a great Greek doctor who taught how to treat disease by understanding what caused illness. So the first thing you're going to answer is this question on the right here. Which three art forms are mentioned in this paragraph? The arts. The ancient Greeks were master artists. Their paintings and statues have been admired for thousands of years. Greek sculptors studied the human body, especially how it looks when it is moving. They used what they learned when they carved stone and marble statues. Greek artists painted detailed scenes on vases, pots, and other vessels. The remains of Greek architecture shows how much care the Greeks took in designing their buildings so they would reflect the beauty and greatness of their cities. The next section, philosophy. So I'm going to go to the question that's on the second page, and the first thing you're going to do is underline the sentence that explains what philosophers believe in. Philosophy. The ancient Greeks worshipped gods and goddesses whose actions explained many of the mysteries of the world. But around 500 BC, a few people began to think about other explanations. We call these people philosophers. Philosophers believe in the power of the human mind to think, explain, and understand life. The next part. What would Socrates say about learning? Three Greek philosophers' teachings are at the root of modern philosophy and science. These men thought about the world and searched for wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, and truth. Socrates believed that people must never stop looking for knowledge. He taught by asking questions. When people answered, he challenged their answers with more questions. This style of teaching is now called the Socratic method. His student Plato created a school called the Academy to which students, philosophers, and scientists could come to discuss ideas. Plato's student Aristotle taught that people should live lives of moderation or balance. He believed that moderation was based on reason. Aristotle also made great advances in the field of logic, the process of making inferences. Your last question is, do you think doctors today have the same basic beliefs about medicine as Hippocrates did? Why or why not? Many of the rules we still use today measure and calculate. I'm sorry, let me start that one again. Many of the rules we use today to measure and calculate were first developed by Greek mathematicians like Euclid, who is best known for his work in geometry. Greek doctors like Hippocrates wanted to cure diseases and keep people healthy. He is known today for his ideas about how doctors should behave. Greek inventors also made many discoveries that are still in use, such as practical devices like water screws, which bring water up from from a lower level to a higher one. On your last page here, in the first section, you have 4 questions and or statements. You're going to read each one of these 4 and you're going to decide if the statement is true or false. If it is true, you're going to write a T on the line. If it is false, you're going to write an F, and then you're going to cross out the underline word and write the correct word in the line or underneath it. Number 1, the Parthenon, a beautiful temple to the goddess Athena, was one of the most impressive of all Greek buildings. Again, if that's true, put a T on the line. If it's an F or false, put an F on the line. And then you'll rewrite the correct word underneath. Number 2, the Greek philosopher Archimedes taught by asking questions that changed people to think about their beliefs. True or false? Number 3, the Greek philosopher Plato taught that people should live lives of moderation or balance based on reason. True or false? And number 4, the Greek scientist Hippocrates devoted his life to studying mathematics and developed many of the geometry rules used today. Finally, you have 4 names here. These are our philosophers. You are going to write 3 words or descriptive phrases that describe each person. You can use the definitions from the first page in our key terms and peoples box. Number 5 is Socrates. Number 6 is Plato. Number 7 is Aristotle. And number 8 is Euclid. So again, make sure you go back into the reading and try and find the answers as best you can. You may or may not find everything that is being asked of you in those questions. For example, number 1, I don't believe we really talk about the Parthenon or Archimedes. You may just guess for those 2, try your best. But then again, if like for number 2, the Greek philosopher taught by asking questions that challenge people to think about their beliefs. We did talk about someone who challenged people and the way they think in philosophy section. So, look at these people, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and see which one of these challenged people in the way they thought. So when people answered, he challenged. So that one you may easily find your correct answer, even though we did not talk about Archimedes, right? Okay, so I'm giving you a hint with this one. And number 1, we did not talk about the Parthenon. I don't believe that was even in our words up at the top. Nope. So just use your best judgment and answer that as best you can. Again, just a reminder, when you are done, please go back into the Google Classroom and write a personal comment that it was done on paper, and make sure you submit this.